In this class, all I'm going to discuss are the concepts which are required, the individual concepts which are required to do the next program in our lab list. Okay, so let me just tell you what are those concepts which I'm going to cover in this class. In the previous program, I had taken the first three, I guess: intents, intent filters, permissions. Please do revise them. They are still essential in this program also, but I've covered all those concepts. Now today's class, I'm going to cover the remaining four, okay, which are all required to do the program in the next program list, which is there for the contacts. Okay, so we will do that shortly. Let's get into the first one. So the first one is contacts. Please understand the program question of the program for the next lab record is to retrieve all the contacts on your phone and display it in my app. Okay, how do I do that? Okay, contacts app is a unique individual app. My app is my own app. I have not used or not deployed it anywhere, but how is that possible for my app to retrieve the contacts from another app? Okay, that is where the content provider concept comes into picture. So what is the content provider? A content provider is something which provides content, okay, which provides the content to people who request it through a proper channel. All right, so how do I request? What data can I request? I can request data like files, I can request data like databases or a network resource, anything for that sake. Okay, so how does Android in general store a contact in your phone? Okay, please remember this. Android Contacts is an inbuilt application or built-in application in almost all the phones. Any Android phone you purchase, you will have Contacts as a built-in app. Okay, remember that. What does it provide? It provides content providers. Okay, the app has content providers which third-party apps can use to manipulate the contacts, like adding, deleting, updating, and querying. Okay, this is what I discussed in yesterday's class, but just recollecting all these things. Okay, all the Android contact information is saved in an SQLite database in your Android phone. SQLite comes along with Android, just like how it comes along with Python. Okay, you have all data stored about the contacts in an SQLite database, which is an RDBMS. It's a relational database. It stores everything in a simple database file. Okay, and where is it located, if you ask? Okay, it is not available for a general or normal user to access this place, but I'll just show you the location. It is available only for root users. What do you mean by a root user? A user who has admin privilege in Linux operating system. Okay, so since Android is also Linux operating system, root access is given only to people who have rooted the phone. Okay, please note, all phones when you buy are coming not rooted. Okay, they are all allowed only user privileges. You don't have admin privilege in your phone, even though it seems like you have, but you do not actually have the admin privilege to your phone. Okay, and in case I wanted to root my phone and make me the admin of that particular phone, your warranty will be void. Okay, because the root of the operating system can do anything he wants. He can remove that and install whatever app. He can remove system apps. All privilege will be given to the rooted user. So please look at the location which is not accessible by you in your file manager or something. You cannot access this location. Okay, only root users can access this location. I'll talk about it a little bit later when we start with file storage. Okay, please note root data/data. Inside that there is a folder called com.android.providers.contacts. By now, I guess you guys can understand what is that big statement. Package name. It's just a package name of that particular app. Okay, inside that there is a folder called databases, and inside that you have contacts2.db. Okay, what is this? This is the file which actually stores all your contact information. Okay, you guys can try this in your phone, not for contacts. How a database or SQL database is stored. You can just go to WhatsApp folder in your phone. I think most of you would have, you will have something called File Explorer. Okay, so if you go to File Explorer, you will find a big folder called WhatsApp. Okay, so if you open that folder WhatsApp, you will have something called backups, or you'll have instead of backups, you can directly go to the folder called databases. Okay, and you will find some db files available there. It will be crypted, okay, encrypted, but then you will find some .db files stored with the name msg store. Okay, these are the place where your messages are stored. All right, and they are stored in an SQLite database. Okay, please remember that. That's very essential to understand. Okay, how contacts are stored in your phone. Okay, I have just taken one of those database as a root user, and I'm showing you the SQLite database structure there. Okay, which doesn't have much there. I hope you can see that. It has ID, it has MIME type ID, raw contact ID, data 1, data 2, data 3, like that, data 15 are there. Okay, most of you would have seen this in your SIM. How do you store your contact? In your phone, how do you store your contact? Okay, let's say for example, you have a user who has two phone numbers. Okay, most of us have two numbers by now. Okay, so when you have two mobile numbers in your SIM card, you can only store one number with one name. Very particular about it. Okay, so if you have your name, okay, and if you say name one, okay, and you will have to store a contact, then you will have to put the same name once again and then put another contact. That is SIM card. But when it comes to Android phones, okay, you don't have that problem. You have only one contact. You can store n number of phone numbers to that. Okay, so this is how your data is stored in the database. It can be manipulated only through the interface, not in the database itself. Okay, this is a simple introduction to contacts. Now let's come to the next thing. Okay, before I go to the next slide, I want you to just think about this one concept. Okay, yesterday I told this, but I'm repeating this. Okay, every developer, okay, every developer and every manufacturer. Okay, so when I'm developing an application, I should not be bothered about who is going to give me the contact information. Okay, so it should be something that we should come to an agreement. Okay, we should come to an agreement saying that you need not remember my name. You just call a constant value. I'll give you the name based on my operating system or based on my brand or the manufacturer. Okay, so that is where another word for agreement. Okay, when we both agree to something, we come to an agreement. One, okay, it's also called as a contract. Please remember another word, contract. Okay, so I'm going to just give you a brief overview of what is contacts contract. Please remember the word. Okay, what is it? It is the contract between the content or the contact provider and the application. Okay, please note who creates the applications, who gives the contacts. Okay, contacts is given with every phone. Every Android phone has contacts application. Okay, that app is already inbuilt. Okay, so who is trying to access data from that? It is the applications what we create. So we both have to come to an understanding. Okay, so that is the contract between contacts provider and applications. Okay, I hope you got this. Okay, so what does it contain? It contains the definitions for the supported URIs and columns. Right? What do you mean by URI, column, all those things? I just told in the previous slide that contacts are stored in a database. Okay, if they are stored in a database, I need to know where that database is stored and how many columns are there in that database, isn't it? Okay, just like how we have done with JDBC or any database for that sake, the first connection string what you write should tell where the database is located. Okay, how do you connect to the database? What is the username? What is the password? Most of you have done that even in PHP MySQL. In PHP MySQL, you will tell exactly where that server is located at. Okay, and in JDBC also you tell that. Okay, so you have to tell where to find the database and what are the columns which are there. Okay, so definitions for these URIs and the definition for the column names are stored. Okay, and that is what is stored in the contacts contract. Please note the keyword which I'm highlighting. Another keyword which I'm highlighting is common data kinds. Okay, whatever I've highlighted in yellow here is not something which I am creating. It's an inbuilt class name. I'm just explaining what these classes are so that when we write the code tomorrow, it should not be confusing for us. Okay, what is common data kinds? It is a subclass inside contacts contract. Okay, what does it have? It contains definitions for common data types stored in the contract data table. Okay, so please note in the previous slide I showed you a column, say data 1, data 2, data 3, data 4, like that I've shown. Okay, so what is data 1, what is data 2, what is data 3? We do not know. Okay, so this is the container which has definition for the data types which are stored in that particular table. This is the second keyword which I'm telling. Okay, I'll be writing everything in one line, but I'm just explaining it one by one. First keyword is contacts contract. Second keyword is common data kinds. Third keyword is phone. Okay, in your phone, how you have stored it is very important to me. So phone is a subclass inside common data kinds. Common data kinds is a subclass inside contacts contract. So these three words will come together. okay, is a subclass in which data kind representing a telephone number is stored. In this class, you have all details about that particular contact. Okay, it's not just one record, guys. You can't say that if I have one contact in my phone, okay, it's a database. Even if it is one contact, it is stored in a database in SQLite. Please remember that. Okay, let me move on. The significant fields, this is the exact word. This is why I am writing this together right now. This is how I'll be writing tomorrow also. This word, you should know what these three things are. Phone is a class. Inside that you have a lot of information. That is what I'm going to discuss in this slide. Okay, where does phone come from? It comes from common data kinds, which comes from contacts contract. Okay, I hope you get the flow, right? So what are the important keywords here? Number one, content URI. If you tell me the URI, okay, you remember in the previous class, I told you that the URIs should look like content colon slash slash, okay, some name slash some ID, something like that. I gave you a slide if you remember that. Okay, here you need not create it because I don't know the URI. It might be different for a Samsung phone. It might be different for a MI phone. Okay, so I will not bother about all these providers. Rather, because we have a contract with us, I'll just call this a common name called as content underscore URI. You fetch me the corresponding or the correct database of that particular phone. Okay, the content colon slash slash style URI for all data records of the content type. Okay, MIME type. Okay, what do you mean by MIME type? Like for example, text slash CSS, text slash JavaScript. Okay, text slash VB script. Okay, like that we have different MIME types. Even image, IMG slash PNG, IMG slash JPEG. Okay, these are all MIME types, and it is combined with the associated raw contact. What is a raw contact? Whatever we store some data there that's called a raw contact, okay, which is not processed yet. Okay, and then aggregate contact data. Once you have stored it, once you have saved it, it becomes a proper contact data in your phone. Okay, and sometimes it is automatically synced with the Google account or WhatsApp account or whatever account you have. Okay. Second keyword I'll be using in the program is the display name. What name are you seeing for your user in your phone? Okay, whenever you store a phone number, you put some name there. Okay, that name is the display name. Please note those what are in capital letter are the constant values which cannot change from phone to phone. You just need to call display underscore name. It will fetch the correct name of that particular in that particular phone. Okay. Last one is the number. The phone number as the user has entered it. So these are the three things which I'll be fetching in tomorrow's class. Okay. So from where will I fetching the content URI, display name and number? From contacts contract.common-data-kinds.phone. Okay. If you have not understood it, please revise this slide once again when I put the video. Okay. Let me continue. I hope that contacts contract is clear. This is not with respect to Java, guys. Sorry, this is not respect to Android. I'm just displaying this because I want you to recollect or refresh your Java memory of collections. Okay, most of you already know this, but I'm just quickly revising it because tomorrow I'll be extensively putting them into use. When I do so, you should be able to understand what it is. Okay, what is a hash map? What is an array list? We have already used an array list in the previous program, if you remember, for Fibonacci. Okay, in the Fibonacci program, instead of using just an array, we used an array list. Okay, and then we mapped it to a list view. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a hash map. So you need to know what is a hash map. Let me just quickly go through this. Array. What is an array? Array stores item is an ordered collection. They are ordered collection. How do you say it's ordered collection? Because they have an index number, which obviously will be in order. It starts with 0 and it goes 1, 2, 3 like that. So order is automatically established when you try to store items in an array. Okay, that is something which we already know, isn't it? So you have to access them with an index number, which will be of integer type because it starts with 0, 1, 2. There is no 1.5, 1.3 and all. You have 0, 1, 2 like that. You have an index number. Okay, that is array. That is how array works. Let's go to the next one. What is a hash map then? Okay, hash map will store items in key value pairs and you can access them by an index of another type apart from integer. Those, I mean, I think last semester you have done Python. So in Python, you have something called dictionary. Okay, what is a dictionary? Key value pair. Okay, you store the values without using an index. Okay, normally we are dependent, like for example, list and all is entirely dependent on index. Okay, index is starting with 0, 1, 2, like that. We are entirely dependent on it. Okay, when it comes to a dictionary in Python, here hash map, okay, it is entirely dependent on the key what you give. You can set the key as integer, or you can set it as a string itself. Okay, and you can put the value also. So one hash map will have two values. Okay, I hope that is clear. What are those two values? One is key, one is value. All right. So if you take array list of integer, okay, you have one item means one number. That's all. If it is an array list of string, one item means one string. That's it. Okay. But when it comes to a hash map, one item means one name, one value, one key, one value. Okay, you access them by an index of another data type. So one object is used as a key to another object. So key value. Okay, key is called index some places. Some people call it as object, or some people call it as value. Okay, it can store different types. That's what I said. You can store key as a string and the value as a number, or the same type, key as the string as well as value as a string. Possible. Okay, that's a hash map. Now, why am I talking about this suddenly in this particular program? There is a reason. Okay, please note that when I am retrieving data from the contacts table, I am going to get the phone number and the name of a particular person. Okay, remember this, guys. Listen carefully. Okay, when I am retrieving data from the contacts of my phone, one contact has two data: name of the contact, phone number of the contact. Okay, I'm not going to bother about your second phone number, email address, all those things I'm going to ignore. Right now, I'm only going to focus on the content provider concept. So I'm only taking two records. One is the name, display name of the user. Second one is the phone number of the user. Now, name and phone number, both are same for me. Both are of the one contact, right? One contact's information is stored in two different locations. So I'll not use hash map that way. I'll show you how I'm planning to use it. Okay, you can see a small sample there. Okay, I put, you see on the table here, contact number 1. Okay, so I'll just show this diagram, then I'll come to the steps, what I'm going to do tomorrow. First contact has contact name is equal to something, contact number is equal to something. Second contact, again, it says contact name equal to something, contact number is equal to something. Okay, and it goes on like that. That's why I put dots, because I don't want to repeat that. I hope you understood the flow. Okay, so what is this then? This is the array list. Okay, what do you have in this array list? Hash map. Two hash map values are there, because name equal to value, name equal to value. Okay, so keep this diagram in your mind, and then let's go through the steps. Number 1, get all the data from the contacts table. Okay, now in the first slide today, I told you that all contacts in your Android phone is stored in an SQLite database. If they are stored in an SQLite database, okay, it will be obviously stored in a table. And if it is stored in a table, how do I fetch the records? I say select star from table name. Okay, so this concept of select star from table name is also called as querying. Okay, so we query the data from the content or the contacts table. So how do you put this query? Using the content provider, because your contacts app has a content provider written. I can directly query it. How will I query it? How will I know where the database is located? That is why in the previous slide, I used the word called content underscore URI. Okay, using that URI, I'll be able to fetch or tell you where the database is, and I can fetch all the records from that particular table. That's the first step. I'll show the code tomorrow, but I'm going to only go through the steps. Okay, so I want you guys to go through the steps clearly before coming to tomorrow's class, because in tomorrow's class, I'll not be repeating this. I'll rather do the program, but this is the flow I'm going to follow tomorrow. Okay, second one. Most of you would have already done this. Select star from table name. Then you store it in a particular variable. Then what do you do? In Java, how do you do it? In Java JDBC especially, you will say connection dot execute query. Okay, or you take that and you say execute query. Okay, when you execute query, a result set will be returned. Okay, how do you go through each and every result set? You will just write while rs dot next, result set dot next. Okay, like that, I am going through each and every record in the table. So if I have set select star from table, next step will be to go through each and every record in the table. Okay, now please remember each and every record in the sense each and every contact in your contacts table. So what will be one contact holding? It will hold the name of the user, it will hold the primary phone number, it will hold the secondary phone number, it will have the home number, okay, it will have email address, it will have fax if you want to add. There are a lot of things in that particular user's information. I only want the name and the number. So what will be do my second step, the third step, get the name and the phone number of the contact and add those to a hash map. That will be my third step. Okay. In a loop. Please note why am I saying in a loop? Because I said go through each record in the table. While you're going through each and every record in the table, get the name and phone number of the contact and add them to a hash map. Okay. And what's my next step? Add that hash map to the array list. I hope you can see this. Okay. So when I go through each record in the table, I get the name and the number, and this value comes from the database. I put name is equal to XYZ, number is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And this is my third step. What is the fourth step? Add this hash map to an array list of hash map. That's what I'll be doing tomorrow. So you need to understand what is an array list, what is a hash map clearly before coming to tomorrow's class. Okay. Last step, what I'll be doing is I'll attach this array list to a list view. This array list will be attached to a list view using a simple adapter. I'll talk about adapters shortly, but I hope by now you are familiar with the word. Okay, so I'll display that in a simple adapter and show it in a list view to the user. That's all I'll be doing tomorrow. Okay, so please note the steps which are involved and be very thorough of these keywords like hash map and array list. Very important. Okay, let me move on to the next concept which we'll be covering after the contacts are displayed in our application. Action bar. Okay, most of you would have already seen this. You have used it so many times. Okay, earlier we called it as app bar. Now it's called as action bar. Okay, doesn't matter whatever you want to call it, as long as you understand what it is. Okay, it is the one which is present at the top of your activity screen. Okay, what do you see on the top of every app? Most of the apps you see the top, you have an icon, you have the name of that app, and you have some settings and all those things. That top bar is called as the action bar. Okay, it is a very important feature of a mobile application. It has a consistent presence over all its activities. You see, for example, if you take WhatsApp, Telegram, okay, Gmail, you see that action bar will be there in all the activities. It will not miss in any activity. Okay, it provides a visual structure to the app and contains some of the frequently used elements for the users. Okay, most of you are using it every now and then. Okay, it's something which we cannot avoid. It's very essential to know what is an action bar. Okay, now please note that action bar automatically comes along with your theme. Okay, please note all applications that use the default theme provided by the Android operating system, which is nothing but theme, app combat, light, dark action bar. Light theme, dark action bar. That's the default theme given by Android. Will contain an action bar by default. If you don't want an action bar, you have to use a theme which says no action bar. Okay, I'll show that in working, but remember this, guys. That's all. Okay, all applications use the default theme provided by Android. That's why even if you write a hello world, you see a app bar automatically there, because this is the theme which is getting applied with a dark action bar by default. Okay, however, it is our decision to customize it, okay, in however you want your application, which I'll be doing for this particular program, the contacts program. And later programs also will be using like this, but anyway, let's go through them. Okay, I've just put a diagram here, guys. I hope you can see this. There are 4 segments in that action bar. This is the action bar which you see on the top of your every activity. You see every app's activity. You see this action bar. I'm going to explain what those 1, 2, 3, 4 are. Number 1, what you see is nothing but the app's icon. Okay, you can set the app's icon to come there if you want. If it's not compulsory, but if you want, you can keep an icon to identify your app with a logo or an icon. Okay, that is your wish. Second one. Is the label. Okay, if you see the second one which you see here is the label. What is it? It is used to identify the app. Okay, most of you would have seen that this will be replaced with the word of the app's name. Okay, in our program, whenever we wrote hello world, this was telling hello world. Okay, if in your phone right now, if you check your WhatsApp, this place will be just saying WhatsApp. That's all. Okay, so that is a control which is used to identify the app or the specific activity the user is on by the title. Okay, when you move to your friend's chat screen, you'll see your friend's name here. Okay, that is because it's identifying whose chat it is. That's all. Okay, so if your app has different views, it can also be used to display these and allow for easy switching between views. So when you see, when you are looking at this bar itself, you'll be able to understand where you are in the app. Okay, that's why it says view control. Third one is the action button. Sometimes some buttons are always available in the action bar, which you can click on, okay, or which you can access them. These are called as action buttons. They are used to display the most important or often actions which normally people do in your phone. Okay, like for example, if you go to WhatsApp, you see this search icon will always be there. Then you'll have three dots. Okay, so that search icon, what you see is called as an action button. They are used to display the most important or oftenly used action for the entire application. If there is not enough space to show all of these, then they'll all go into this three dotted button. Okay, they are automatically moved to the action overflow, which is the fourth part of your action bar, which is used for lesser used actions. Okay, if you see that in any app, you will find that, okay, that will be the action overflow. All right, because like for example in WhatsApp, if you say first you will see that searching, the magnifying glass will be there. Right next to that, you will see three dotted buttons. When you tap the three dotted buttons, you'll see new group, new WhatsApp, sorry, new broadcast, WhatsApp web, starred messages, payment, settings, like that. All these things will come. Okay, all those things are part of overflow, because I can't show all those menu in this small bar. Okay, it's very difficult to show everything here. So if it is possible, I'll show remaining everything. I'll just put it into the overflow, because they are overflowing from this menu. So I'll be just putting them here. When you click on that, I'll be showing the lesser used actions. Okay, this is the action bar, guys. Please remember this. There is one more thing. When you are working, or let's say in the chat itself, when you choose a particular chat alone, okay, on the top, the same place will replace with some more icons. Okay, with the number and some icons and all will come here. Okay, those that time, that is not an action bar, that is called a contextual action bar. Okay, we will be doing all these things, but I just want you to remember the word which I'm using. Okay, so that is one. Let me move on. Menus. Okay, please note here, this what you see here is a menu. This is a menu. When you tap on this, what and all you see below that is also called as menu. Okay, let me just go through what are menus in Android, which is very, very essential for us. Okay, so first thing, menus are a common user interface component in many types of applications. You know, you would have seen that menu in a lot of places. Okay, let's say even in your Windows, you have menu. Okay, file, edit, like that. You have a lot of menus. That's a common UI component. You cannot avoid them. Okay, so to provide a familiar and consistent user experience, you should use the menu APIs to present users action and other options in your activities. Okay, there are three fundamental types of menus or action presentations on all versions of Android. I'll just tell the names and we'll show a diagram just to explain what these three types of menus are. Then we'll see the code in tomorrow's class. One, options menu. On the app bar itself, they are called as options menu, and I'll also take app bar along with the options menu. Second one, context menu and contextual action mode or action bar. Okay, context menu. Last one, pop-up menu. Three menus are available in Android. Please remember, I'll try to access all these in one or other program so that we are exposed to all these types of menus in Android. Okay, first one is options menu. Second one is contextual menu. Third one is pop-up menu. I'll just show you a diagram or a screenshot explaining all these things. Okay, number one, options menu. Okay, you would have seen this in almost every app. Okay, I've just taken a screenshot of Google Chrome. Okay, in Google Chrome, if you tap on the right side, the three dotted buttons, you see a big option list, right? That is called an options menu. It's a primary collection of menu items in an Android application, and they are useful for actions that have a global impact on the searching application. Okay, please remember this. These are options menus. Okay, it's not like you have to select something. You just open the application, you'll be able to see an options menu. Okay, remember that. That's an options menu, what I've shown in the screenshot here. I hope you understand what is an options menu. Let's go to what is context menu. Okay, please note what is the context in English. The environment, based on the surrounding area. Okay, before even I go to the explanation of this, you need to understand that in your Windows, let's say that left click normally means selecting something. Okay, but when you right click on something, it depends, isn't it? Okay, so for example, if I open Word document and right click on it, what are the options I am getting is not the same if I open a Word, a notepad and right click. Okay, if I right click on the desktop, I get something else. So the action what you perform is same, right click. Okay, but what options you are getting when you right click is different. It is based on where you are right clicking on. Okay, so for example, if you right click on the start menu, you get different options. When you right click on the taskbar, you get different options. So what is that right click? Right click is called as contextual menu. Based on the context, I will change the menus. Okay, now look at this diagram here. Okay, when you choose a particular item in your phone, when you long press on a particular item, you get some options to do. Okay, that is called a contextual menu. Why? Because it based on this context which you have clicked on. I've just given an example of a screenshot here with WhatsApp. Okay, if you select a particular chat, okay, if you just choose one particular chat and when you long press on it, what happens? You get some menus here. Can you see this? Okay, these are contextual menus. Okay, these are not option menu because it is not available for every chat which you have. Okay, but when I select a particular chat, okay, you get this particular option menu. Okay, and these menus are not always available. They are only available when you click on a particular thing or a particular item for a long time, and the useful for elements that affect the selected content or context frame will be appearing here. Okay, this is called the menu. What you get, this reply or star or delete or copy. Okay, all these things are specific to the one which you have selected. Okay, please remember that. Okay, so the menu what you see here are contextual menu, and this bar right now, which was the action bar, has now changed into a contextual action bar. Okay, I hope you got the words what I'm saying. All right, the first time when you open WhatsApp, you don't see much here. Okay, but the second time when you select something and then you see this bar, it doesn't have the word called WhatsApp, it doesn't have my username, nothing is there. Directly it just says something. This is called a contextual menu, and right now the app bar or the action bar is changed into a contextual action bar. Okay, I hope you got it. What is context menu? I'll show that in working tomorrow. Last one is a pop-up menu. Okay, then and there, wherever you click on, there only I'll show the menu, not on the action bar. Options menu as well as context menu, the remaining two will come only on the top part. Most of the time it comes, okay, majority of the time it comes on the top part of your activity, but pop-up menu will come then and there. Wherever you have clicked on, the pop-up will be coming. Okay, that is a list of items as a vertical list which presents to the view that invoke the menu, and useful to provide an overflow of actions that are related to the specific content. Okay, remember this is a pop-up menu. Now, I told three types of menu: contextual, option, pop-up, all these things. But when it comes to Android operating system, all the three are basically menus. Okay, so how do you create a menu in Android? That's my next title. Okay, how do you create in Android Studio? Okay, it provides a standard XML format for creating any type of menu. Okay, please note the keywords anymore what I'm using. Okay, we can simply define the menu and all its items in XML itself. Okay, without the code. You need not build a menu using coding. Okay, in order to create a menu, whatever menu it is, let it be option menu, let it be a context menu, pop-up menu, whatever it is. If you want a menu to be shown to the user in Android Studio, you just use XML and create a simple menu, and then you attach it to whatever type you want to use it as. Okay, so the way in which you create a menu here in Android Studio will be same for any type of menu that you're creating, which we'll be seeing a little bit more in depth tomorrow. Okay, so remember this concept what I'm discussing now. Okay, so moving on, we should create a new folder called menu inside your project directory where the resources are stored. So resources folder, inside that, in the previous classes we created a raw folder. Here we'll be creating another folder called menu folder. Okay, and we'll add a new XML file to build the menu. Okay, let's say how it will be. I'll just show you a XML code. Okay, just look at the XML code. Okay, don't get confused. None of this will be typed by me. I'll be just generating it. Okay, but look at the code. Menu is the root element. Inside that you have three items. Three menu items are there. So if you want to create three items of menu, just need to add three items inside the menu tag of Android Studio. That's all. Okay, I'll explain these things individually later. We just see the names. Each item, each menu item will have an ID. Each item can have an icon. Each item should have a title. Okay, I hope you know what does this mean. This just means that data is coming from strings.xml. All right, but in my code, I'll not be using strings because we don't have time. So we'll be typing the title directly there. Okay, this is a menu structure in Android. Okay, I have just explained three important tags, guys. Just look at this. Number one, menu. It is the root element which helps in defining menus in XML, and it holds multiple elements. Second one, item. It is used to create a single item in the menu. It also contains nested menu in order to create a sub menu. Okay, remember this. I'll be doing it tomorrow. Please remember this. Okay, if you write menu, the previous code you can just have a glance. I wrote a menu tag. Inside that you have written items. Now please note, item is always an empty tag. It opens, it does not close. We just put slash close. That's an item. But what if I open this item and put slash item? Inside that I put one more menu tag and I write another item inside it. It is a sub menu. That's how you create a sub menu. I'll show you how to create menus and sub menus without writing code in tomorrow's class. Okay, but remember the keywords. One is menu, one is item. If I put menu inside item, it becomes a sub menu. Group, it is an optional. It is not compulsory, but it's an optional and invisible for item elements to categorize the menu items so that they can share properties like state, visibility, etc. We put a little, some of the times you see that some options come always together. Okay, they never come separately. They come together. Okay, either they come together or they don't come at all. All right, that's a group. Okay, that's what it's a menu. Last one is adapters. What is an adapter in general terms? Okay, I think we already understood this a little bit in that Fibonacci program, but let's go a little bit in depth. Okay, it's a bridge between a UI component and a data source that helps us to fill the data in the UI component. In the program of Fibonacci, what we did, the UI component is a list view. Please remember that UI component is the list view. And what did I try? What is the data source? The source of data came from an array list of integer. Okay, I created Fibonacci numbers and put it inside an array list. That's my data source or source of data. And where did I display it? On a list view. So list view is the UI component. Data source is that array list. Okay, it holds the data and sends the data to an adapter view. Then view takes the data from the adapter view and shows the data on different views like list view, grid view, spinner, etc. etc. For more customization, we use custom adapter, which we'll be doing later in our lab records. Okay, I'll show that in a recycler view later. Okay. Here, data source is the source from where you get the data, and UI components are that list or grid items in which we want to display that data. Okay, that is clear, I guess. A diagram, I think I explained this already, but I'm just showing this diagram once again for you to understand. Your mobile phone charging cannot be done directly from the switchboard. Okay, if you do that, your phone might not be able to charge. Okay, because the data which is, or the charge which my phone requires will be like 15 or 18 watts, but I'm getting 220 watts from here. Okay, so adapter, what does it do? It adapts or it converts it. It's acting like a bridge between these two sockets. Okay, and it gives you only what data, relevant charge, what you require from the board to your phone. Okay, what about in Android then? Okay, adapter just again acts as a bridge. Please remember this. Okay, and the data source can be an array list, which is what I did in the last class. In the next class, I'm going to use hash map. Towards the end, we'll be using an SQLite. But either way, the data source, how would you like to display in the UI, like list view or grid view or something like that? How would you like to display it here? Using an adapter. Okay, it acts as a bridge. It converts the data item into a view item so that it can be displayed in the UI component. Okay, and UI component, what we do, we view items is displayed in list view, etc. Whatever view you want to show it in. Okay, this is an adapters concept, guys. I hope this is clear to you. Okay, so there are some types of commonly used adapters. Let me just go through them and we'll finish that. Okay, base adapter, array adapter. We used the second one in the last class, if you remember, array adapter. Then we have custom array adapter, where we need to display a custom list, not just numbers and not just string, etc. In this program, the next program, what we are going to do, we are going to use a simple adapter to map static data to views defined in your XML file. That's what we are going to do. And in tomorrow's class, I'll be using simple adapter. Custom simple adapter is when you use to display a customized list. Okay, not just static list, but a customized list to access child elements of that particular list view or the grid view, whatever it is. Okay, so I hope these concepts are clear. Okay, I need to bring all these concepts together in tomorrow's program while we'll be displaying the contacts in my phone. Okay, with this, I'll stop for today. If you have any questions, please do ask.